Welcome to the last segment of this session where we are now going to discuss about the mergers and acquisition transactions and how those have impacted due to COVID. Before we go on move on to the mergers and acquisition transaction, as we have so far discussed that there has been a lot of financial impact on the industries. The operations of the industries has been disrupted because of COVID, because of especially the manufacturing sector. Like even we are seeing even travel industry is badly facing today, or the hospitality segment is also facing a lot because of COVID. So such kind of companies and businesses which are being facing recently, there is also a notification on this ground. Now what typically used to happen, if there is a default by such companies due to payment on certain vendors which they had agreed to, and suppliers and so on, then these companies would kind of recover this amount by way of insolvency and usage of insolvency and bankruptcy code. So recently, the government has also brought a notification dated March 24, 2020, where is this default. So if a company has defaulted on 1 lakh of rupees earlier, then the other person, the corporate creditor, could have sought remedy under the insolvency bankruptcy code by saying that uh, the payment is due and this debtor is not paying and this company be wound up. So this threshold of 1 lakh has now been increased to 1 crore of rupees, thereby giving kind of leeway and a lot of relief to the MSME sectors and small companies, where even for just 1 lakh the petition would have been filed in the National Company Law Tribunal NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, thereby asking the company to kind of pay that amount, or else the company will get into a winding up mode. So this IBC is generally sometimes used as, unfortunately, as a recovery tool from such companies, and that's why this threshold of increasing of this 1 lakh rupees default to 1 crore is a definitely welcome, especially in this COVID scenario when already the companies are facing financial losses and financial issues, and likewise. Also, one ordinance has been brought out under the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code, wherein the suspension has been brought for corporate insolvency resolution process if any default arising on or after March 25, 2020, for a period of 6 months or further, which can be notified up to 1 year. So basically what has happened over here is, if any default is committed by a company in repayment of a particular amount to a supplier or a vendor or likewise, and if the default is occurring after March 25, 2020 up to 6 months, then the other corporate creditor cannot invoke again the insolvency bankruptcy code for the lifetime, because that's what is being introduced in the ordinance. So in my opinion, any default which has been caused prior to March 25, 2020, the proceedings can still happen if it is obviously within the limitation period and etc. But if the default is within the 6 months which for which the ordinance has been issued, then the company cannot be said to be wound up because of the default. So basically the IBC, that is the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code, will not be taken an advantage of, and then the requirement of that the company be wound up will not be taken up to the NCLT. So this is also a big relief to the industry and the businesses as such. Now, considering the M&A transaction, some industries, as we are seeing, has been highly benefited by the COVID, like be it a pharma sector, or be it the generic industries, for example, general supplies like vegetables or food related items. But yes, the restaurants and hospitality industries has badly been suffered. IT is not much impacted again because they could work from home, and most of the companies were working up and right from day one itself. But then how this, in case of a probable merger acquisition transaction, if it is in the which stage of transaction, that on which this COVID has created impact or not is being dependent. Now, generally in the typical M&A transactions, there is a standard material adverse change clause, similarly like what we saw in case of a force majeure, where there is this clause in the deal that, say for example, if there is an event, fact or occurrence or a development or any combination which would be reasonably expected to have a material adverse effect on the business, so that is what is being treated as material adverse change or material adverse event clause in the M&A deal. So this typically now it all again depend upon how this clause is being drafted, but this typically exclude events like act of gods and weather event and flood likewise. But if some provisions can include that epidemic or pandemic, whereas some parties may decide that no, we will exclude this pandemic and epidemic. But then the provision can be invoked depending upon at like again what stage the transaction is and how materially adverse change has been incurred. But unfortunately, if we see the rulings of the court, invocation of this clause again is not that has been easy for the companies, because the courts have not, in my opinion, have taken into consideration that okay, this is a material adverse event and thereby the entire deal is anybody can back out of it and likewise. So there are few precedents which existed, like the Supreme Court of China issued a judicial interpretation holding that non-performance of a contract owing to the SARS outbreak or an account of administrative measures to combat it would qualify as force majeure event excusing performance. Though obviously this was not in the context of M&A transactions, but likewise, so rarely if we see the courts have led the acquirers to walk away without taking or taking ahead the deal in that particular matter. So this clause. Is not very easy to be invoked, but if at all the circumstances and the facts or situations are such, then it can be looked upon. Now we'll also see some of the deals which has been paused because of the COVID impact. So Woodward Inc. and Excel Corp announced all stock merger agreement, but both the companies mutually terminated the merger considering the pandemic because they wanted to focus on the business. Plus, there was a recent announcement that US printer maker Xerox Holdings Corp terminated its $35 billion hostile cash and stock bid for HP Inc., the PC and printing equipment manufacturer, after the coronavirus outbreak. So, Xerox in its statement made that emphasized on prioritizing the health and safety. So, basically, this is where the M&A deals got paused. Plus, there were some deals which had gone sour. So, in the Ebix Inc., where the had agreed to acquire Yatra Online Inc., the parent company, or Yatra.com for an enterprise value of $337.8 million, which was signed in July 19, but they have recently gone into litigation mode where the Indian traveler firm Yatra and the US firm software Ebix had intensified, with the latter threatening a countersuit over the Gurugram based company's legal move to terminate its pending merger agreement. Now, here Yatra complains that Ebix breached material terms of the agreement and frustrated Yatra's ability to close the transaction and obtain the benefit of the bargain for Yatra stockholders. So imagine a situation, because if we see Yatra is a travel industry, as we all know, travel industries have been hugely impacted by COVID, because it's almost like nobody would like to travel in this particular scenarios for a leisure or a vacation. So this is what deals are going sour. Whereas we also know that Reliance and Jio, where they have raised almost 1 lakh crores of investment from various investors like Facebook, Silver Lake, Vista Equity Partners, General Atlantic, and many more. So this is how generally, if we see, yes, there is an impact on the mergers and acquisition, but depending upon the industry, the outcome, the product or the services of the company, the financial ability of the company to take on this pandemic and all is all going to be dependent on that. So there are deals which have gone sour, there are deals which have got paused, and there are like Reliance, which we are seeing where there is investment coming in the companies. So and yet to see more. So the transactions would be further seen. But this was all from my side. So I hope you have loved the presentation. If you have any feedback for me, please do share the feedback. My contact details are with the authorities in the college. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any queries on this, if you have any suggestions, if you have any feedback, if you have any issues, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. Really loved to interact with you via this online platform. Thank you so much. Take care.